Well, to say the least, it is a big week for Wisconsin athletics, basketball and football specifically. Greg Gard's Badgers concluding the non-conference portion of the schedule on New Year's Eve, a 6 o'clock matchup on Tuesday night against Rider, and then they jump back into Big Ten play on the road Friday night in Columbus against Ohio State. Between those two basketball games, oh, by the way, the 106th Rose Bowl. And for the 10th time, Wisconsin is a part of it. The New Year's Day matchup in Pasadena against the Oregon Ducks. We'll talk a little football as we'll hear from some of the Badgers getting ready for the Rose Bowl game. And of course, we'll talk a little hoops as well with head coach Greg Gard. All coming up on today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
Wallace, the free throw line. Wallace, King went down. He played through it. Wallace up, blocked by Reavers. That's 9 for Nate Reavers. One more rejection. He'll have a triple-double. The bounce to Brad Davison, left of the circle. Up and inside, flips to forward left wing, darts it to Anderson, high on the right, goes into McGrory. Baseline right jump is good, and Walt McGrory has 7 dearly needed points for the Badgers in this first half. Baseline left, steps back, 15-footer baseline left, short, rebound Pritzel. Another board for Brevin Pritzel. That's 10 of them now today for Brevin. Here's Davison, turns to Pritzel, 3-ball, left pocket, good. Pritzel with 10. A double-double for Brevin Pritzel. 55-43 Wisconsin, timeout Marquette. Gives off to Kobe King, bounces into Reavers, low on the right, up over Patterson, good, it counts, and a foul, and that's how the Badgers get things started tonight.
Against Wall, knocked away, Trice comes away with it, in transition, 2-on-1, Trice going all the way to the glass, and it's off the glass for 2 for Demetric Trice.
This is Wisconsin basketball. Loose ball snapped up by King. Here's Kobe, goes to the goal, runs it up and in! Brevin Pritzel, his 4th from downtown. Strikes high, 4-3, good! Demetric Trice again with a big shot. Davison for 3, tied in! Blocked by Reavers, out of bounds.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by Hy-Vee, where there's a helpful smile in every aisle. Hy-Vee proudly supports the Wisconsin Badgers. And UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
At Hy-Vee, we'll do whatever it takes to partner with the best Midwest ranchers and bring you the highest quality beef. Less than 10% of all USDA choice beef is even good enough to be called Hy-Vee Choice Reserve. And you'll save with fuel savers, price declines, and mega meat sales. We'll do whatever it takes to bring you the best tasting meat at the best price. Because we're Hy-Vee, and we'll do whatever it takes.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There's no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
The Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or L Directors Cup on Twitter. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
Trevor Anderson with the basketball, cutting is King, and he dunks it! What recognition by Anderson, and King on the cut just flushed it home.
Shot clock at 8. Anderson near half court to the left-hand dribble. Trevor top of the circle, 5 to shoot. Anderson inside. Potter catches, slam dunk. Micah Potter with the punch. Oh, and a sweet look from Trevor inside. 38-37 Wisconsin.
Badgers getting ready for their final non-conference game of this regular season, a New Year's Eve matchup. So a great start to your New Year's Eve festivities. A 6 o'clock tip on Tuesday night. The Badgers against the Ryder Broncos, and a team that I know we talked about, Greg, last week. You mentioned they put some points up on the board. It's a good program, but I guess my question is, there are 1,001 challenges to scheduling, and then trying to get somebody to come. Well, how do you get this one? How do you get someone to make the trip on New Year's Eve?
That's Mark Vanderwettering pulled off. He gets an extra tip of the cap for this one because usually we don't. It's very hard to get. Because if they want to get their kids home or the travel of obviously they'll stay and go back on New Year's Day, I'm sure. But yeah, it's you go from extremes of Tennessee, being very defensive oriented to a different style of play with Ryder scoring a lot of points. But they obviously want a good game. We look at obviously the numbers too, and the Ken Palm, all the analytics. We can look at scheduling, and their 3-year average is really high. It's up in the 150 to 170. Where they've been. So they've been very good and very competitive, and that helps the big picture of what the weight and strength of our schedule has.
Yeah, you mentioned that because after this it goes back into Big Ten play, the net rankings, and the first rankings coming out over a week ago, but it speaks analytically, I guess, in a way to the strength or the balance of the league. When you've got 2/3 plus in the top 50, that tells you a little bit about the conference and how a lot of teams have challenged themselves.
And I think that's been, if there's one thing I've really taken from the head coaches meetings over the last couple of years of the trend that was happening. We've kind of always been in that mode. We've maybe penciled in a few more than normal, but by and large we've tried to schedule relatively difficult when we can. And obviously there's a lot of things that balance in, home facilities, contracts, those type of things. But I think the general thought process in the league is let's all try to be more aggressive because of more leagues going to 20 games, and that was the whole driving force behind that of really pushing everybody's strength of schedule up, but also what we're doing with these other non-conference games, specifically these guarantee games, as we talked about with Ryder, trying to avoid when possible the below 300 games and those things, and really trying to challenge yourself and making sure that you look at the historical value. Every team changes. You could have something maybe guaranteed, and they've been good for so many years, and something happens, they have a down year. But by and large, we've tried to really, push the bar up a little bit in terms of these games.
You touched on the 20-game Big Ten schedule. That's pretty much here to stay, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I think if we see any shift, it'll be where those games are. And I think if the coaches had their wish, it would go to the end of December. We'd play in between Christmas and New Year's, and then go just package the 20 games together versus having a breakup in between, just because there's not as much uniformity across the league as we've seen. We've all had different days between our games. It hasn't been uniform. So I think that would be one thing. Whether that's going to happen here in the next year or two, I don't know. TV drives obviously a lot of that. So, but 20s is not going anywhere. We're not going backwards. I know that.
I know a couple weeks ago in the show we talked about the league and the road troubles in conference play. Michigan State finally broke through, winning. It was a tough game. They had to earn it against Northwestern, but it's a very small sample size here, 2 games out of 20, but I can't recall seeing 12 teams 1-1 here.
No, and I've seen pretty much everybody now for a good chunk of a game. There's no weak teams. There used to be 10, 15 years ago, there was a layup here or there. There's not. I think what we've seen, the parity across the board, and the Big Ten in general, because we lead the league in attendance, or lead the country in attendance as a conference, every venue you go into for the most part is a difficult, more than likely hostile environment, and you're playing good teams with good players and good coaches. So, like I said, there's not as many of the haves and have-nots anymore in the league. It's balanced across, and if you don't play well anywhere, it doesn't matter. Home isn't guaranteed, even though we've seen a big trend here in the first lap around the track, but it's going to make for an interesting league title chase.
And that's where, again, there are multiple reasons that you've talked about why you schedule as aggressively as you do out of conference, but that's why you do it, right? Because you're not going to get the get-well games in the Big Ten, so you can minimize those in the non-conference schedule as well.
Yeah, and you're looking more at, like I said, do you have really some good quality teams on your schedule when it comes down to those decisions that are made in March? Your conference will take you so far, But then as they start comparing teams across the country, making sure you have really challenged yourself and put yourself out there, not only to help yourself in terms of preparing for the league and what's coming, but also putting some numbers behind your resume.
You mentioned in this league too, and the balance of it, and how there are no bad teams. I'm just looking at your first four in the Big Ten. You go to Ohio State, you come home, play Illinois, then you go to Penn State, Maryland, here. Each one of those programs already this season with head-turning performances.
That's why I don't look that far down the road.
Yeah, I cheated on you there.
Four in a row. Yeah, I mean, and you really have to. You talk about, it's a cliche maybe to say one game at a time.
Yeah.
I will be functioning one day at a time, or one game at a time, because you just rattled off four there.
Sorry about that.
That's going to have me awake in the sweats tonight, or cold sweat, worrying about those four in a row.
I'm thinking, Greg, that maybe every coach in America, not just the Big Ten, but in America, is going through that with what we have seen in college basketball, where the so-called mid-majors have gone on the road and have beaten the Kentuckys, the Dukes. Carolina has had issues. I mean, this is
parity is
incredible.
At an all-time level. I mean, from what I've watched, and I've seen bits and pieces of teams around the country, but I think what you're finding, there's no dominant team. And with the three-point line, even though it went back this year, I think what you're finding with that, shooting is going to be at a premium going forward here the next few years in recruiting and those things, because you're finding the three-point line being the great equalizer, and that's why you're seeing a Wofford go to North Carolina and win, and other teams go into places and win, because you can make up for maybe what you lack in the physical difference with a mid-major to a high major, so to speak, with what you can do from the perimeter and how you can, like I said, it probably more so than in any other sport. The three-point line really can allow you to make up for maybe what you're missing in other areas.
And do players too, Greg? Players are fans, 99% of them anyway. They watch the NBA. They see it. Right. They see the highlight dunks, but they see guys launching threes.
And that's what you see the NBA and the pro game has become that. It's transcended over from Europe, and it's really infiltrated into the NBA, and the three is so utilized. It's at an all-time level. We see right here in Milwaukee with what the Bucks are doing with the three-point line. So I think you're going to see that become even more of a trend and more of something that's an emphasis put on in college basketball.
All right, busy week for Badger basketball. New Year's Eve, 6 o'clock tip here at the Kohl Center against the Ryder Broncos. And then the Big Ten schedule will resume. I'll just talk one Big Ten game at a time. Badgers will be at Ohio State, a Friday night matchup down in Columbus, 6 o'clock Central Time for that game. We'll have more as we continue with today's edition of the Badger Sports Report.
This is where great things happen, where technology and discovery beautifully intertwine with compassion and care, where patients with the most serious of conditions come for the most successful of treatments. This is where you'll find some of the brightest minds in medicine, changing people's lives for the better. This is UW Health. And yes, this is where great things happen. UW Health. Remarkable.
Hi, this is Coach Greg Gard, inviting you to join the Badger Basketball Booster Club. As a member of the Booster Club, you will have the opportunity to participate in a variety of great events, including pregame chalk talks, golf outings, and an away game bus trip. The Boosters play a vital role in assisting our staff and student athletes through fundraising and sponsorship. For additional information on joining the club, please call 608-265-6161. There's no better way to show your support than to join the Badger Basketball Boosters.
Two receivers left, one on the right. Hunter Johnson to throw, knocked away by Burrell. It's loose in the end zone, and the Badgers will pounce. Touchdown, Wisconsin. Matt Henningsen recovers in the end zone for his second touchdown of the year. Snap back to Smith, pressured by Orr, who hammers Smith down. The ball popped out, and the Badgers recover. Jack Dunn, Adam Krumholz. Pistol formation, Pryor now motions right, fly sweep motion, handoff Taylor up the middle, 40, 35, 30, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown, Jonathan Taylor from 44 yards away. The 14 of Ohio State, second down and 4, handoff, or rather faking the handoff is Cone, he'll run it inside the 5 into the end zone, touchdown Wisconsin. Jack Cone keeps it. And it's 13-0, the Badgers.
The Badgers will face the number 6th ranked Oregon Ducks in the 106th Rose Bowl on New Year's Day. It's the 10th trip to Pasadena for Wisconsin and the first since 2013, meaning some of the players weren't even teenagers when the Badgers faced Stanford. But they still know the significance of playing in the granddaddy of them all.
The landscape of college football has changed as far as the bowls go since I played, but I mean, growing up, that's all you heard about. Right, that was the best of the best, going to the Rose Bowl. So not having an opportunity to go there as a player, it definitely hurt, because that's what you grow up on. And having an opportunity to go as a coach, and I mean, it's unbelievable how many people have reached out just talking about the experience that I'm going to have going out there and that this team is going to have. It's definitely going to be special. You know, it's one of those games you never missed growing up. Like, I don't care if you watched every bowl game or cherry-picked which ones you watched. You never missed the Rose Bowl. So it's going to be exciting to go out there and have this experience.
Like Coach K is on staff here. Not too long ago, this season actually was a reunion for his team that won the Rose Bowl. So, you know, everybody knows about it. You know, we talk about that and wanting to be able to come back and see each other in 25 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and talk about this special season, that special game. You know, it's a historic game. So it would be an honor. You know, it's a privilege to even just play in it, first of all, and it would be truly special to come out on top.
Definitely a great honor, and I mean, my grandpa talks about it all the time. I mean, whether I'm at his house or just at some function or even just around the stadium, if I see him, he's talking about it now. And I mean, you don't really notice how much Rose Bowl stuff is around the stadium and on the walls until you actually start looking for it and you realize you're playing in the game.
You might as well call it a playoff game, because if you're not in the playoffs, this is the next best thing, you know. So you can obviously call it that, you know, regardless of the situation. With us losing and anything played out, you know. So if you win the Rose Bowl, you just feel good. You feel like you won the national title, you know. So I'm just excited that we can go there, and this is my first experience, so I'm excited for it.
This game's an awesome game, and to being part of that is huge. And I just remember doing everything to be at our best, and that's what you want to do this year. You want these guys to, biggest thing is you let them know every last step of it is worth it, because what you're going to remember is how you play the game. That's what you're going to remember, and you want to play it great. And so that's why today's like today, this morning's an awesome morning. You know, like every step of the way, you want to use it to kind of get yourself ready to roll.
This is a huge game. I mean, it's what they call it, the granddaddy of them all. It's the oldest. It's the best one to be at. Great location. I heard the stadium's just tremendous, and the sunsets on it. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a big game.
I was a young kid, and I remember like he was like, I want Joe and Jake to come in the locker room and like on the field and experience everything. And I remember being in the locker room, and I've never seen my grandpa raise his voice, and he's screaming to his players, and I think I ended up crying or something like that. And so, I mean, that's really all I remember. Other than that, the other ones I was way too young.
One of my old lacrosse coaches would always go to the Rose Bowl, and he used to tell me that one day he was going to come watch me play the Rose Bowl, and this was before we even knew football was going to be a thing, so pretty amazing.
There is a boy who likes tractors and trains, a boy whose heart was far too strained. He was sick, you see, with a heart that broke. His heart needed fixing, his family needed hope. Enter our doctors with their newfangled tests. Enter our teams whose care is the best. Healthy and happy, the little boy's back, playing with tractors and trains on his track. UW Health and the American Family Children's Hospital. Remarkable.
At Hy-Vee, we'll do whatever it takes to partner with the best Midwest ranchers and bring you the highest quality beef. Less than 10% of all USDA choice beef is even good enough to be called Hy-Vee Choice Reserve. And you'll save with fuel savers, price declines, and mega meat sales. We'll do whatever it takes to bring you the best tasting meat at the best price. Because we're Hy-Vee, and we'll do whatever it takes.
I mean, just obviously getting the opportunity to play in a bowl game was huge for us. And I think for these guys, just playing in Pasadena at the Rose Bowl, like one of the greatest bowl games ever, getting that opportunity is something that a lot of these guys are cherishing, and you can tell during practice that they're putting their heads down and ready to work.
Just knowing that you've seen this style of offense before, but knowing that each team has something a little different about them, that their identity is grounded in. Everybody, pretty much everybody is spread, but everybody has a different ideology behind them. So, I mean, you get some confidence knowing that you're going to see similar formations, similar run game, and all that, but you're going to see a wrinkle.
Yeah, you've been hearing a lot about their O-line and how good they are and how good of a job they've done. And an experienced O-line is what you need to play physical football. That's why Wisconsin has been able to play that brand so well. And I think there's going to be a lot of good crossovers for us from seeing our offense every day in practice.
This team wants to be physical. They want to run the ball down your throat. And running backs want to get north-south. Everybody's trying to finish the play in a dominant position, just like us. They're just doing it a different way. They're just doing it from the spread instead of the eyes. So I would say they're different from that team in that they want to hit you in the mouth. Before it was more so about get it to the athletes all in space, but they want to hit you in the mouth.
Yeah, extremely impressive what they ask him to do, right? The amount that they put on the quarterback's shoulders as far as getting him in and out of the right run plays and what he does in the pass game. Physically, he can make every throw, and he put that on tape. There's a reason he's as highly regarded as he is nationally, and it's fun to watch him orchestrate an offense, and unfortunately we got to find a way to try to stop him.
Biggest thing that stands out to me is, I think one, they do a great job with their multiplicity in their coverages and their fronts. They can create a lot of chaos for you and a lot of issues just through identification and schematics. Athletically, they're as good as anyone at getting off blocks and making tackles. I think that stands out, whether it be in the front seven or in the secondary. And then their ability to turn the ball over. They've done a great job of forcing turnovers, especially with interceptions. So, you could see why they're as ranked as they've had as much success as they have.
It's a great opportunity for us. I think we're ready for it. So hopefully we go out there and not shock the world, but play our best performance, and hopefully we'll come back Rose Bowl champs.
Winter in Wisconsin, it's a time for going all the way up and throwing down. It's a time for discovering something cool and gathering somewhere warm. Whether you want to spend winter inside, outside, or both, there's something for everyone in Wisconsin.
The Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the highly recognized mark of distinction in college athletics across all divisions, both men's and women's sports. Follow your favorite team's pursuit for excellence in this prestigious annual award through thedirectorscup.com, USA Today, or L Directors Cup on Twitter. Learfield IMG College Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics since 1993.
The Badger Sports Report is presented by UW Health Sports Medicine, the healthcare team for the Badgers. Learn more at uwsportsmedicine.org.
Yeah, it means a lot to us. Like I said before, there's a lot of history with the Rose Bowl around this place. And, you see the old Rose Bowl teams coming back and visiting here, and, be pretty special if, we can win the Rose Bowl, and then, 20 years from now we come back and revisit this place and all get together and be one of those teams that, Wisconsin football looks up to.
Credit to what we've been able to do as a team. This isn't just me and Chris, or this isn't just JT and Beatrice. This is a team effort. There's guys all over the field making plays, and to leave our stamp on the side of the building is huge.
A Rose Bowl win would be amazing for us, and it's our group hasn't been there yet, and we get the opportunity, and we want to make the most of it.
We have reunions here for the Rose Bowl champions. It'll solidify your legacy as a class, as a team. That's exactly what you want. Everybody here holds the Rose Bowl to a higher accord than any other bowl game, unless you're in the playoffs.
Kickoff is set for 4:10 Central Time on Wednesday the 1st. We'll have a complete wrap-up of the game and the entire week in Southern California on next week's show. Until then, I'm Jay Williams for the Badger Sports Report.
At Hy-Vee, we'll do whatever it takes to partner with the best Midwest ranchers and bring you the highest quality beef. Less than 10% of all USDA choice beef is even good enough to be called Hy-Vee Choice Reserve. And you'll save with fuel savers, price declines, and mega meat sales. We'll do whatever it takes to bring you the best tasting meat at the best price. Because we're Hy-Vee, and we'll do whatever it takes.
They are the ones who found a way to isolate a single prostate cancer cell hidden amongst a billion healthy blood cells. The ones pioneering advanced genomic testing in order to create personalized treatment protocols. They are the ones you want to talk to when the diagnosis is prostate cancer. They are the physicians and healthcare professionals at UW Health and the Carbone Cancer Center. UW Health. Remarkable.
Progress is an endless challenge. Here at the University of Wisconsin, we're a community of innovators in constant motion. We think on our feet, connect with each other, and hit our stride, pushing past limits. Progress is an endless challenge, but it is only those up to the challenge who change the game.